What's better between a self-driving car and a self-driving bus? I'm here in Shenzhen to try both of them out, see what the advantages and disadvantages of either system are. So let's hurry and get into the taxi because it's about to arrive. The booking process is relatively simple. You select the place where you're going to get picked up. You select the place where you're going to get dropped off. Here comes my Pony AI self-driving car. The car has set off on its own. We have a safety driver just to catch us in case we have some kind of issue. The big promise of this tech is that one day we'll have no safety drivers. We'll have these cars roaming free, either as your own vehicles that you can rent out as a taxi, as Tesla has tried to do with its robotaxi, though in recent years it's been a little bit more controversial, let's say, or to have these giant networks of robotaxis and it becomes this kind of almost public transit. My safety driver has not touched the wheel. We've arrived very uneventfully and quickly. I was a bit surprised actually. Thank you so much. As we walk through the streets of Shenzhen, looking for my bus stop, let's talk a little bit about the downsides of autonomous vehicles. So first is safety. While a lot of companies claim that their autonomous drivers are safer than real human drivers, a lot of that is proprietary data and they have a very vested interest in having us, believe that. It's time for levels of self-driving. Cars and autonomous cars don't all come the same. So a level 5 car is able to drive fully autonomously as if it was a human driving it. We have a lot of data of vehicles going onto these streets that are controlled with safety drivers. For example, Beijing, Wuhan, Shenzhen, and Guangdong province in general, or in the States like in Arizona and California. Every car that comes with self-driving features from XPeng, Tesla, BYD, or Xiaomi, like we saw, they all have level 2 self-driving. Most regions don't have certifications for individuals above level 2 because the safety aspect and also responsibility. If a car crashes when it's in level 2 driving, then person driving is responsible versus level 3, level 4. We really don't know. Is it the robot that's responsible? Can we hold a robot accountable? That's a whole other can of worms. Right now, the infrastructure cost of developing self-driving cars, deploying them, making sure you have all the safety drivers, making sure you have all the regulatory hoops that you go through, that's way more expensive than operating a regular taxi service, but they're subsidizing their taxi services so that they get more experience, more time in these cities for people to get used to them until at some point, the goal is to have self-driving cars, if not completely replace human drivers, at least make them obsolete. At the end of the day, a self-driving car is still a car, but cars alone are not going to fix a city's bad infrastructure. The way that you fix a city's infrastructure is to have ways to transition from taking a car to taking a bus. Just in theory, if the bus stop for the self-driving bus was too far away, you could be able to switch to taking a bike to the bus stop. Thank you, trusty bike. Here I am in the self-driving minibus. It's the same feeling of slightly underwhelmed that you get when you've tried a self-driving car of, oh, so this is all it's about. But it's not actually that significant to the experience of the person taking the car or taking the minibus if they're used to taking a taxi.
One of the big challenges with managing a bus route is finding drivers and making sure that you're managing their shifts properly. Self-driving cars are just an evolution of regular cars. The people who will be most affected will be the people who sit in the driver's seat. If you're a commuter, that frees up an hour or so every day to meditate or doom scroll. In a future where self-driving buses are cheaper than hiring a driver, those drivers are out of a job, but at the same time that would reduce some of the uncertainty that bus companies deal with from hiring and managing the shifts of lots and lots of drivers.
Right now, we still have safety drivers because the technology is not ready yet. It is freaky to see a car go by without any driver, so that does help reassure people and passengers as we can get off. So as we re-enter the world of public transit systems for plebs, I think the main learning point is that self-driving buses, once they get to a point where they can be deployed more broadly without the driver in the security seat. They will allow us to rethink a lot of what public transit actually looks like.
Applications like Uber have changed the way that people around the world view taking a taxi, planning out and managing a whole fleet of vehicles. You could also imagine self-driving minibuses operating as a kind of taxi, picking people up and dropping them off as they go through the town without ever really needing to stop during the day.
Self-driving cars as taxis versus having self-driving cars that you own is actually a really interesting jumping off point. Do you really need to own this vehicle? Do you really need to have it sitting around all day doing nothing versus having it being used, like for example, a public transit system, this train that I'm in is being used every day and you're just renting it? To answer the question, what's better, self-driving cars or self-driving buses? I'm more excited about self-driving buses, but I think self-driving cars will have a giant impact on mobility, on how we create and engineer our infrastructure. Uber and ride-sharing has already reshaped the architecture of our cities, and I think that self-driving is also going to re-architect our cities for the better or for the worse. I really hope that it takes the shape of a more public style of transit, because we desperately need less congestion for better air quality, less emissions, especially as more and more people get into this world.